Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, grab your white coats, maybe your stethoscopes, and definitely a strong cup of coffee. Because today, you're starting your ultimate training as a financial doctor. We're going to learn exactly how to diagnose the true financial health of any business, moving way past the PR spin to see what's actually going on under the hood.
It's a pretty fascinating question, right? How do you know if a billion-dollar company is secretly broke? I mean, you can't just look at their shiny glass headquarters or the free kombucha on tap in the break room or a super charismatic CEO to understand the company's actual health. We have to look past the public facade and really dig deep into the historical accounting data to find their true vital signs.
So here is our diagnostic clipboard for today. We'll start with the financial health checkup, look at who cares and why, and learn how to beware of window dressing. Then we'll open up the analyst toolkit, and finally we'll master market ratios and the DuPont chart. Let's scrub in.
Section 1. The Financial Health Checkup. Financial Diagnosis.
Now, financial analysis isn't just, staring blindly at a spreadsheet until your eyes cross. It's a highly systematic diagnostic process. Imagine a patient handing you this massive, completely unorganized stack of complex lab results. Well, that's essentially what a raw balance sheet or cash flow statement is. Our job is to dissect that dense historical data into simple, digestible components so we can accurately assess earning capacity, liquidity, and future growth.
Section 2. Who cares and why? Users of analysis.
Think of all these stakeholders as the concerned relatives, right? They're anxiously pacing around in the hospital waiting room. But here's the kicker. They actually all want to know something completely different. Creditors, well, they're nervously checking the short-term pulse because they want to know about liquidity before they approve a massive loan. Investors are staring at long-term valuation and profitability. And hey, even employees are peeking at the charts just to ensure the company has the capacity to actually pay them next month.
Section 3. Beware of window dressing. Beware of illusions.
Listen, you simply cannot trust everything at face value. Window dressing in accounting? It's basically the financial equivalent of a heavily filtered dating profile. Management might legally manipulate statements to paint this rosy, perfect picture that masks a very, very sick reality underneath. Plus, traditional statements rely on historical costs, which completely ignores inflation. And they totally overlook crucial non-monetary factors too, like terrible management, a ruined brand reputation, or a staff that's literally ready to quit.
Section 4. The Analyst's Basic Toolkit. Basic Instruments.
All right, let's open up our medical bag. Our first instrument is the comparative statement, which you might also hear called horizontal analysis. By placing financial data from two or more periods right side by side, we can establish meaningful quantitative relationships. We aren't just looking at the raw numbers here, we're looking at the absolute and percentage changes over time. If you suddenly see administrative expenses spike by 50% from the previous year, alarms should absolutely go off, because you've just found a major symptom worth investigating.
The actual procedure for building this is really straightforward. You just treat your previous year as the base year, compute the absolute increase or decrease for your line items, and then simply calculate the percentage change. But a quick malpractice warning for the doctors in the room here: before you compare anything, always make sure the data was prepared using uniform accounting policies. If the company changed how they count inventory halfway through, your diagnosis is going to be totally useless.
Next up in our kit, we've got common size statements, or vertical analysis. With this tool, we completely ignore raw monetary values. Instead, we set a common base figure, like net sales, to exactly 100%. And this is an incredibly powerful diagnostic trick because it completely levels the playing field. It allows you to directly compare the underlying cost structure of a tiny little garage startup right against a massive multinational corporation.
So, to build this proportional blueprint, you just set your base, say net sales for the income statement, or total assets for the balance sheet, to 100%. Then you express every single item beneath it as a percentage of that base. The really brilliant part here is that you're comparing proportions, not absolute dollars or euros or rupees. It instantly highlights the relative weight of every single expense.
Our third tool is trend analysis. You can kind of think of this as our time travel tool. We pick 1 year as the base, treat it as an index of 100, and convert figures from subsequent years into index numbers. This lets us track the long-term direction, growth, decline, stability, whatever it is, over, say, 5 to 10 years. But be incredibly careful with this one. Picking an abnormal base here, like, the middle of the 2020 pandemic, that can completely distort your entire trend analysis and give you a huge false positive.
Section 5. Market Ratios and DuPont Advanced Checkup.
We are now in the final, most advanced stage of our evaluation. These ratios, they're the essential vitals that external investors care about the most. Market valuation ratios basically relate the market price of a company's share directly to its earnings or its book value. For instance, the price-earnings, or PE ratio, tells you exactly how much investors are willing to pay for just one single unit of earnings. It's like the ultimate market thermometer to judge whether a share is currently overvalued or if it's a hidden, undervalued gem.
And now for the grand finale. Let me introduce you to the DuPont control chart. If comparative statements are like a basic stethoscope checkup, well, the DuPont chart is our ultimate full-body MRI. It's this brilliant diagnostic tool designed to break down a company's return on investment, or ROI, to find the exact hidden weak link in their business model.
The core formula here states that ROI equals the net profit ratio multiplied by the capital turnover ratio. What this brilliantly illustrates is that a high ROI isn't magic, folks. It's actually really simple. It is just your profit margin, meaning how much cash you actually keep from every sale, multiplied by how aggressively and efficiently you utilize your assets to generate those sales in the first place. By splitting ROI into these two distinct operational limbs, management can easily pinpoint the exact source of a problem. Let's say a company's ROI suddenly drops. Well, is it caused by shrinking margins, meaning they just aren't charging enough? Or is it because of slow asset turnover, meaning expensive capital is just sitting there idle? I mean, think about it. A grocery store survives on fast turnover and low margins, while a luxury jeweler relies on super high margins and slow turnover. Identifying which specific limb is broken enables rapid, highly targeted surgery.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from horizontal analysis all the way to spotting those tricky illusions of window dressing. But as you pack up your diagnostic toolkit, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. If a company's numbers look absolutely perfect today, what hidden vital signs might they be masking for tomorrow? Always look deeper, never ignore the qualitative factors, and keep practicing those financial detective skills. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.